We are friends. We are humans. And the rest. Of course, there is many creatures that we have around. They kind of don't belong too much into our, let's say, humane way of living. They look human. They, let's say, behave human sometimes. But most of the time you can actually recognize them. They are not really nice beings. They're always self-obsessed, they're greedy, jealous, competitive to the core. Yet they will continue doing it to the rest of their days. Not to judge them much, but allowing one to become just a simple zombie, robot, a thing that is just repeating the same thing and knowing it cannot be a different result. Eventually, one will die. How come history never showed us any of the examples of the beings who actually continue living after 100, 200, 300 years of age? Why are we so adamant to repeat, let's say, the stories from Jesus' time, just to understand that nobody really believes that he, if they didn't murder him on the cross and then consume him after, he would probably still be living. Yet they are saying he ascended. Well, really, I don't think so. Not anyway the way how the Bible is referring to these subjects of ascension, death, why we have to die at all, why we cannot just continue living our miserable lives for thousands of years. Because we cannot, we don't want, or we did not want until this life. This life is absolute challenge and the final lesson for one and all to realize what is actually transpiring. Immortality is here. Everlasting life is here. Well, it will come with a lot of lessons, with a lot of self-observations, with a lot of judgments of oneself to get it, let's say, fully acknowledge what and why we have to die so many times. And I'm talking thousands and thousands and thousands of times. So title: one cannot learn a lesson by resenting it or by constantly dying. Why we learn in school very, let's say, common and so simplistic ways of thinking that we can just follow the rules. Why we never challenged in the school to come up with our own solutions, with our own, let's say, approach to a certain situation or problem, or why the school is so, let's say, educationes, in the sense of we can just learn what we have been given, and if you challenge it, you are a rebel, you are an anarchist, you are a not educated person who just don't want to learn all these pre-programmed lessons that we have to follow until now. So many through history, if you look back, were never taught properly, let's say, by these dark educational systems. People like Jesus, like Gandhi, like Martin Luther King, like Mandela. Some of them, they really have to finish these frigging, dark schools to prove them absolute ludicrousy of this behavior, of this approach, that we don't allow our children to grow by themselves, for themselves, to become wiser, not just to become, with a good memory where mental apparatus is just working, and if it doesn't work, then you go and abuse some drugs and some medical, scientifically, synthetically programmed pills that will increase your memory. But why do you need memory if you're not intelligent? Why do you want to increase your memory if you're completely not wise? With every single stupid action that we have to die every single time until now. Point of this talk today is pretty much unknown to me until I finish it, so I will let you know how this goes. Us refusing to accept there is a possibility to live after, let's say, that the general program tell you that if you reach 80 you have to be shriveled, you have to be a tiny old man or a woman who has no really reason to live anymore. But once if you find your reasons why you live, and it can be in your 60s, in your 70s, doesn't matter, you can actually reverse all this bad programming on yourselves. You can reverse all your, let's say, bad karma that you've done to others and that has been done upon you. So having this thought in your head, try to figure out what are you going to do with thousands of years that are just ahead of you. In this body, in this physical vessel, would you make it better? Would you make it healthier? Would you make it, really joyful and youthful and full of energy, that you can continue doing what you do the best? Discover, not repeat what other previous old generations told you, that you have to behave, how you have to hoard your money, and on, like all these educational lessons were never really in any way educational. They were just programs that we have to follow. There are rules and regulations that we cannot break, or we thought so. But by following every of these man-made rules, we're breaking every single rule of divine. By breaking rules of divine, we do nothing else but hurt ourselves. And we're shrinking basically our life from, let's say, infinite to a couple of 100 years. Then we do another messy situation of judging others, killing others, eating animals, and we shrink even more. So we allow 100 years. Then we start praying to the really fake Luciferian gods or all the other gods of this present religions, or New Age God or money God, and then our lifespan goes shorter. Now we are in our 60s and we look miserable, we feel miserable, we are sick to the bone. So what did we learn? Pretty much nothing. Because we play ignorance. We play resentment to any opportunity that Prime Creator gave us to change. Every day, every moment in your life is here to allow you to change. Not to learn something new, learn a new language, learn whatever, read all the books that gives you other people's opinions, then you take it as a gospel, and then these other people become down the road through the civilization, whatever, through your ancestry, they become gods. And then you suddenly cherish some kind of golden donkey, and you don't understand why. You never even question why. You just do. And by this, your lifespan goes even shorter. New Agers were such a funny bunch that decided to pray not to the, let's say, old religion gods, but they invented their own. Sanandas, Metatrons, archangels, archonic, whatever, angels, and so on. Master of that kind, master of Blu-ray, master of, green poo. I have no idea how far they can go. But nobody is asking why we're doing this. Why are we so stupefied to repeat something? And it was pretty much recently written or presented to this generation, last couple of generations. Let's say in 1900s, this movement of New Age just bloomed. Or real, let's say, Antichrist movement that was going and raging through the church suddenly has been transmuted or presented as Scientology, that it's a religion with no God. Their God is money, ownership, abuse, and on, sacrifice. Their major God of Scientology is sacrificing. If they don't have enough children, they'll do animals. If they don't have animals, they will actually play or set up a rule that certain, doesn't matter, countries or towns or regions will be affected by this scientific technology that will make a tremendous mess and inflict so much pain in many, many millions of people through weather, through wars, through planned social unrests and so on. So how and where we as a human say, I want out of this repetitive, never learning, always doing the same thing life? I think your time is now. I know mine pretty much is already gone and passed many times ago. Yet I'm here to suggest you, to encourage you that you can, if you choose, truly live forever. One of the best spots to start, go to creationlightship.com and meet the being who created us all.